You know, there's 3 daily silent killers of your spiritual life. We're surrounded by noise, and the average person is hit with over 100 messages, alerts, and notifications every single day. No wonder it's hard to stay spiritually steady, and in fact, those hidden distractions are killing our faith, and most of us don't even recognize it. Hi, I'm Arnie Cole, your spiritual fitness coach. Welcome to Spiritually Fit Today, where every day is a workout for your soul. One step, one choice, one spiritual rep at a time. Our memory verse for this week is, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always standing in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain." That's 1 Corinthians 15:58. We're going to focus on that verse this entire week. And today we're going to focus on, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast." So today this verse is all about being steadfast, which means standing your ground. And I've got a special guest today, our digital architect. Justin Manis is here to join us to talk about being steadfast in a crazy era where we get bugged all the time. And Justin is one of those guys that knows all about how to bug you, how to get your attention. So I've got some questions for Justin on how you've got us all addicted over all of these years. So welcome, Justin. What do you got to say for yourself?
Thank you, Arnie. Thanks for having me on. Welcome to my kitchen. Yes, you're right. I've been in the business of getting people addicted to apps and software for a long time, 20 years plus.
So you've designed systems that here I'm trying to hold steady, focusing on what I'm supposed to do today. And your whole life has been about getting me, distracting me from what I'm focused on to focus on what you have to sell, whatever company you were working for. Tell me a little bit about that. How does that work? What's the DNA?
So if you go back a little bit in history, we'll go back to Facebook. And Facebook started, it was Mark Zuckerberg, and he was looking to have a better social life in college.
Right.
The whole thing's really an accident. What he developed by accident was the social network. There's the movie. But the idea was pretty quick, they figured out, if your friend posts a picture, you got to see what that is. It's rude not to. There's a social obligation. And so for a while, for quite a few years, they capitalized on that. Then what came up is they saw you would follow another influencer, someone you didn't even know. And if you followed them and saw them enough, you'd feel that same social obligation. Right about the time that they figured that out, they put ads in. And as soon as they put ads in, their entire focus, their algorithms, essentially their algorithms say, let's get people's attention as long as we can, because more attention means more ads means more money. And that was the business that I was in, is those kinds of apps and the accompanying ads with those apps. And now it's TikTok, it's Instagram, it's all over the place, it's pervasive. Now they've figured out the most recent thing, and it's been quite a while, most people understand this. If you want to get people's attention on content, then you make them upset. Content that makes people angry is much more effective at keeping them on the page than content that makes them happy. And then you can slide in a lot more ads. So that's kind of where we've landed with technology, is get people upset, keep getting them upset, and keep serving them ads.
So how do you remain steadfast at anything with this constant stream that basically is by design meant to distract me? If nothing else, make me angry or catch my attention. I mean, was there any thought of, is this good for mankind?
There wasn't in the beginning, and then there was, but with the amount of capital invested and money generated, those thoughts end up on the back burner. And if they don't end up on your back burner, you'll be out and they'll put someone else in whose back burner they will end up on. In a modern era, everybody's pulled in. Grandparents need to see pictures of their grandchildren. Parents are communicating with their kids, their parents, maybe even their grandparents, their peers, and lots of influencers. So if you want to break out of that, there's two ways I think you can do it. One is you just need to have force of will with assistance. And so, for example, here's something I do, but a lot of people are beginning to do more and more of this. In fact, in the tech community realizes this isn't good for them either. In the morning, the first thing that I do is a small exercise routine, because I know if I don't do it right then and there, then I probably won't do it through the rest of the day. I'll get busy. So I'm tying in something that I know is good for me. Prayer time for me is night at bed. And then in the middle of the day, I consciously take a break. That break may be prayer. That break may be something else that's non-work related. But I had to force those things in, and it's not always easy. There's, especially the morning one, there's times where I'm like, I don't know that I have 10 minutes. And then I go, well, wait a minute. Really? You don't have 10 minutes? Do the thing. So that's the kind of manual effort. And then the other way, and something that you and I have talked a lot about, is there software, are there apps that can break you away from secular apps and put you into something that's spiritually nutritious, spiritually more apt to take you into a higher state of fitness? That's another path. Probably have to be a little bit careful. You can sort of get addicted to those as well, but between those two paths, that's what works for me. And I'm guessing that's kind of what works for most people too.
So do you mean to tell me that algorithms even know the time of day? So they would know, like, maybe how to adjust your feed or get your attention in the morning versus afternoon versus night? I mean, are they that smart?
They are for sure that smart. And in the early days, the algorithm was looking at what do generally people do? And then they say, okay, well, generally men do these things. We figured out that Justin and Arnie are men, so we're going to put these things in front of them and try to intrigue them. That's long gone. With the rise of AI, they know you and they know me. They know us as individuals, and they know what time we'll be more likely to do things. They know which things will be more likely to do on which days. They understand weekends. They understand it as well as a human, except they have the knowledge base of the world, and they can operate at 100 times the speed of a human mind.
And isn't it true that you guys even know, like, how long I look at a picture or a feed? You can tell how long that influences the algorithm as well?
Yeah, that's exactly right. If you're scrolling and you scroll slower on something, that indicates interest. And if you scroll quickly on something, that indicates, okay, well, that might not be things like that. We might not keep showing to Arnie the one he scrolled slower on. Let's try some more of those. Oh, he really stopped on that. That's a strong signal. He gave it a like or a thumbs up or a thumbs down or some sort of emoji. Better yet, ooh, comments. Wow, Arnie really likes that. Show him more.
And the entire time, you get so used to it, you're not even really aware of what's going on. And that's one of the other things, is you make it, I think you call it seamless. It just smooth as can be.
Right. It's a seamless transition from one piece of content to the next. That's not always happening, but once you have somebody in a seamless state, let's call it, one way is, you can imagine, sort of scrolling. Scrolling is already feels seamless. The other thing is, once you're in a seamless state, if you're clicking on different things, that will also feel seamless. So when you're fully engaged, you probably don't even really know what actions you're taking.
We had a younger guest on the program last week that was saying he literally can spend hours scrolling, and then maybe he would like start at 8 o'clock, and then he'd look at the clock and it's like midnight, and the whole time he's been scrolling. And it's just bizarre, because that would be perfect for any kind of brainwashing. I mean, when you think about it, that is pretty amazing from an opportunity to not be steadfast or to knock somebody off of what they're supposed to be focused on.
Absolutely. If you think about it, you get used to this scrolling, and it's there's some sort of call it a dopamine hit. It's a lot more complex than that, but you scroll and you're getting a bit of dopamine and a little more dopamine and a little more dopamine. And then you become immune to that and you need to do more of that. And you become immune to that and you need to do more of that. Now you try to jump out and somebody asks you to spend some time, be reflective, pray, spend some time with God, spend some time with your family. And it's difficult because you're used to a massive amount of small, fast interactions. You're retraining yourself in a way that's really not beneficial to the actual life that you live.
Wow. It sure takes a toll then on your spiritual life, or it certainly could.
It certainly can. And I think for some people, it takes a toll on their spiritual life. I think it takes a toll on people's lives in every different way if they allow it to. And you really have to try not to allow it to, because again, back to that, you kind of have this social contract with people you're connected to online. And if you ignore them, well, maybe that's being rude. So there's a lot of methods of compulsion that are being pushed at you to bring you back into this fast, slide on to the next thing digital realm.
Wow. This is really fascinating. And thank you for that. I liked your practical suggestion of in the morning, instead of grabbing your phone, maybe take time and either read the Bible or meditate or something other than getting on your news feed or on your social media feed. I think that's very helpful in starting this solid foundation of becoming steadfast and unmovable. Now, I'm going to ask you to come back tomorrow in a few days because it's critical that we understand these silent blockers of our faith, this constant digital noise that we just all take for granted, but it really takes us away.
Sounds great.
Another thing that I've seen in the literature, in social media, that you guys kind of design it too, where I automatically compare myself to my friends, either on likes or somebody's on vacation, they show all the highlights. Does the machine think that up, or do people think that up?
That's a great question. The people become aware of it. The machine thinks it up. And the way that works is you're essentially putting an algorithm in that says constantly test a large pool of people. And when you find you've given them something that they engage more with, give them more of that. And when you find you've given them something they engage less with, give them less of that. Sounds pretty innocuous, except the machine pretty quickly figures out how to keep pushing things at you that increase your addiction. And then humans, after a while, watch the machine and say, oh, that's how we're doing it. But the machine's the one coming up with the method.
Well, and then it's so amazing because another thing, the third thing is this crowded schedules that we have. Where do we keep them? We keep them on our phone, which also has our social media feeds, so it's like it's a vicious cycle that we depend on, but then it is preying on us in so many different ways. But some are good. I mean, it's good to have your schedule on your phone. It's good to have notifications, but I think if you get 150 notifications a day, that's not so hot.
Right. Your phone is a great place to engage your spiritual walk, whatever that might be. You can get your Bible on your phone. You can engage in so many ways. So there's a lot of positives, and the force of will it takes to get rid of or mitigate the negatives, it can be done in smaller stages. Here's the thing I do at night and during other times too. I actually turn my phone all the way off. And as small as that sounds, I started doing it because that's when the software needs to update, and I'm kind of pushing my phones and my technology to the limit. What I realized, and maybe some of your audience would try this, if you turn your phone off, that 3 to 4 seconds it takes to turn it on might be just enough to get you to do something else before you turn it on. It's very simple, but it's worth a try.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. Well, today we're going to do our soul pump assignment, the spa treatment. So the first thing is we do every day is our reflection or gratitude. I want you to identify one area of your life that feels shaky right now because of your social media usage, and take that one area and give it to God. Thank Him for it. Thank Him for being the rock in your life, but then ask the Lord to help you get strength over these overpowering algorithms that are out there. And then secondly is reveal your social connection, show some kindness, share this struggle that you're having with someone else with your social media content, and let them kind of become your accountability partner, such as tell somebody, I'm shutting off my phone, text me to make sure I don't have it on, or however you set this up. That would be a great way of having someone else help you work on it. And then the third thing in our daily soul pump exercise is to pray and ask God to empower you today to first be aware of what's going on in your life, especially as it comes to your social media feeds. And then trust that the Lord will help you as you try to navigate this so that you can be steadfast in your focus on Jesus each and every day. Before you rush back into your day, pause for a moment. You just finished a spiritual rep, and that mattered a great deal. Whether you prayed, encouraged a friend, or opened God's Word, that small act is shaping your soul for eternity. Remember, spiritual fitness isn't about perfection. It's about showing up each and every day. And if this podcast encouraged you today, share it with someone else who needs a little hope and encouragement and strength, especially as they navigate their social media feeds. Thank you, and we'll see you again tomorrow, because what you do today truly matters.